Okay, you've got the degrees, you've got the certifications, you got the whole alphabet soup of credentials behind your name. So, why is it that your six-figure degree isn't helping you build a six-figure business? Right? That's the question you're asking yourself. You're scratching your head and you're like, okay, what? Make that make sense, right? Like somehow your bank account is not, it doesn't reflect the brilliance you carry. And so it's not that you're crazy, okay? It's that you're conditioned. So let's go ahead and talk about how we can break the cycle of that and what's really going on and why this is the truth of many beautiful, brilliant brown and black skin women, okay? Brown and black women, I'll just say, brown of all shades. Why it is that we are disproportionately struggling in this sense. We're the fastest growing businesses yet, for sure. However, when it comes to having our six-figure degrees that we invested in, and some of us have deferred many a times over and still paying for, just to end up in a bunch of disappointment, right? From this broken system we bought into called corporate America. Let me just say this, sis. You are not crazy, okay, at all. We have just got to learn how to break the cycle. And when we've got to break the cycle of this brainwashing, okay? And we've got to stop being the puppets in the show. So let's talk about why your education is not translating to income, okay? And what to do about it. Simple and plain. The first thing I want you to realize is that your core, you were trained to be a great employee. Okay. Like you were not trained to become an entrepreneur. Like that's not even taught in school, right? That's why there's so much financial literacy. That's why there's this whole thing about, like people are just now really learning about business. That's why so many entrepreneurs and businesswomen struggle, right? Because we are great at what we were taught and what we were brainwashed to believe is the way, the secret sauce to success in this society. And now that we're starting to really dig deeper and, discover like what our passions are, what our purpose is, and we want to have a purpose-driven business and like we've died, we're all in. We're all in it to win it, right? However, we were not taught about business. And that is problematic for many, many brown skin women and women collectively, right? And especially if you're a woman over 40. And if you're a woman that fits within a marginalized group, like say, for example, the LGBTQ plus community representing my peeps, right? So here's the thing, school is taught. It's taught you how to follow instructions, right? It has not taught you anything about building an infrastructure. That's one of the differences right there. That's key. Okay. So you've learned how to follow instructions, right? You've learned how to work in a structured environment. And you had a whole laundry list of duties and other duties as assigned. Okay. However, nobody taught you or me, for that matter, how to build infrastructure. That's problem number one. Okay. There is no curriculum for courage, no curriculum for creativity, no curriculum for charging your worth. That is why we get into these positions and we start to undercharge in our business because we've been rather in positions that have only maxed us out at a certain dollar amount and said, this is your worth. This is what your work is worth. And this is what you as a person, as a whole human being is worth. Right? Doesn't matter your contributions, your sweat equity, your years of dedication, your loyalty. None of that matters. It doesn't matter what you put in. You put all kind of skin in the game. They see you, but they don't. Right? So there's no curriculum for that. And success in entrepreneurship, by the way, requires some unlearning. Okay? Because we've learned a few things along the way, but it's all been about what corporate America taught us to believe. Now, while we're learning, and it is a steep learning curve, okay? Ask me how I know. 9 years in, it is still a steep learning curve to some great degree, right? I know a lot more than I did when I first started, but there's still a lot more I have to learn. So I'm also saying to you that whether or not you are at your beginning stages or you're kind of, sandwiched in between beginning and like more advanced, or you're over here in the advanced stages as a seasoned entrepreneur, we are still learning along the way. It really is a journey and it's a process, right? So we have to unlearn some things because corporate really did a number on our brains, right? We have to untrain the brain and then retrain the brain. Like we are programmed right now. And there's some misfires and some malfunctions, right? And some crossed wires. And like we got to undo all of that mess. That's garbage. We got to let that go. Okay. And then we got to learn what we need to know now and what applies to us now as it relates to business, building businesses, building legacies and empires and generational wealth. Again, something we were not taught in school, right? So it's a systemic issue, right? And that's why I call it a broken system, because we are not set up for success. We are set up for failure. Here's the thing, degrees validate intelligence, right? They don't validate value. I'll say that again. Degrees validate intelligence, not value. You feel what I'm saying? And so a degree might get your foot in the door, okay? But it won't keep your business alive, nor will it allow your business to thrive. Okay. In this game called business, okay, unlike corporate America, value is really determined by perceived transformation. Okay. Not just the information, not just you regurgitating what you've learned, right? Not credentials, by perceived transformation. So clients who come to you, your ideal client avatar, those dream clients you want to work with, they're paying for clarity. They're not paying for curriculum, right? Which is what you learned in school and academia. Like that's what we're taught. We go by curriculum. What is the curriculum and what is the course, the path of this course that I'll be on in my journey of, learning what they teach us in school to get the degrees, the certifications, the licenses, to then get the good paying job and to climb the corporate ladder until we hit the proverbial glass ceiling, be passed over for many promotions, but we keep playing that game, crawling, clawing, and climbing our way up the corporate ladder, fighting for a higher position, just to find out when we get there, it ain't even all the hype. We're like, this is what we were fighting for. This is what we stayed for. This is what we struggled for to get here. And then you look down at the view and it ain't better from the top in that arena of corporate America, right? And then you're supposed to do that for how long? Until you retire well and live happily ever after. But nobody is preparing you for the nightmare that inevitably will come. So again, I go back to say that clients pay for clarity, not curriculum. Okay. And by the way, you're playing by corporate rules right now. Okay. You're playing by corporate rules in an entrepreneurial arena. So right now you're still waiting for permission. Right now you're still waiting for approval. Right now you're still waiting for the right time. Sis, the right time is always now. Always. The best time was yesterday, but the next best time is now. Not later, not when the day comes, not someday, not the right time. This is the right time. It don't get no better than now in the present moment. Because tomorrow, as we know, is not promised to us, neither is our next breath we take. So now is the right time, okay? Business isn't about checklists, by the way. It's about confidence. It's about conviction, okay? It's about what you feel compelled and called to do. That's why when people come to me and say, Coach Katrina, what is my passion? How do I find my passion? What is my passion? No, darling. See, purpose is what God gives you, but your passion finds you. You don't find it. Okay? So business is not about checklists. You've got to have a boss mindset or a CEO mindset versus an academic mindset or an employee mindset, right? Because you're never going to be a successful business owner or businesswoman when you're in the entrepreneurial space working with an employee mindset trying to be an entrepreneur. That doesn't work. Now make that make sense, right? So honor your education, yes, and recognize it's a whole strategy, right? That ain't the whole strategy. Your education, that ain't it at all. That's a very small portion of your success story. Okay. In fact, in business, education doesn't even matter like that. I mean, I'm not saying that your credentials don't matter at all, but I am saying they don't matter completely, right? I can't tell you how many times when I first got in this space, the online space, into running my online coaching and consulting business. I thought, because I came from corporate too, 30 long years, okay, that everybody wanted to know what your credentials are. Because guess what? It's so important in corporate. They make you feel like that's all that matters. And without them, you're going nowhere, right? But people can care less in business because that may add a little bit of extra appeal. But I know people who are doing damn well in this business, making 6, 7, and 8+ figures in their business. Some of my closest colleagues and people I know making really great money. Some of them do have degrees, and some didn't go as far as, they didn't even graduate high school. They got a GED, right? And so they still are successful. Some are super successful as compared to those of us who are super smart, right? So yes, we have a level of intelligence, but that I say all that to say that I'm just proving a point here. You don't need the degrees to build a 6-figure business. That's not what is required. In fact, if you go rambling that all off to people, if I came on here and said, hey, my name is Katrina Marie, holistic business coach, RN health and wellness educator. I've got 3 degrees. I got a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD, a this and that and the third. 30 years in corporate America, this and then that, and all of these years and all of these accolades. And you're just going to be like, okay, already. Next, speed it up, get to the point. I want to know how you can help me, right? What's in this for me? Because it damn sure ain't your credentials, sis. You know what I'm saying? That's what people are thinking. They could care less. And I know that may sound horrible. And you may feel like I did all this work and you're telling me people don't care. They really don't. Because that's not what's going to necessarily help them get the transformation they were looking for. Okay? So it's a whole different ball game over here. So yes, honor your education, but like I said, it's recognize that it's not the whole strategy, and you need so much more than that to make this work. You need branding, you need messaging, you need marketing, you need sales, you need automation, people resources, so you can delegate and outsource. You need team, you need tools, technology, right? Technology, short for technology, okay? You need energy alignment and then some. Okay, and that is why I am a holistic business coach and an RN health and wellness educator, teaching you, women like you, how to transition out of the corporate grind, out of corporate America, how to smoothly and seamlessly make the transition. And even if you are a high achieving, ambitious woman, seasoned entrepreneur, okay, and you're not just getting started and you've already made the transition, great. Either way, I help you to build an aligned and profitable online brand and business that prioritizes your health, healing, and happiness, right? It's without sacrificing your soul and sanity or compromising your health and happiness. And that is critical to your success. So I do not just teach on how to leave a job and start a business or set up for scale or grow a business. That matters, but it doesn't matter more than mindset. It doesn't matter more than alignment. And when I say alignment, I mean alignment with your passion and your purpose, your deepest aspirations, right? Who you are, true to your core values, the core of your being. Who are you really? What does What life do you envision for yourself so that you can build the business around that, not the other way around, which is another big mistake that women come into this game doing. Because usually you go get a job, right? That good paying job in corporate America, and then you just live your life around work, which is what we're trained to do. So when we come into the business world, we're now living our lives around business. No, ma'am. No, no, miss ma'am. We're not doing that over here. Okay. And I care about you as the whole individual person. Every aspect of your life matters. If you are having a failing marriage, right, or you're on the brink of divorce, or you have crummy, crappy relationships with your family members and your friends, or if you don't have a community, if your career is crap, okay, if you're in a toxic environment or a job or hostile work environment, if you're in a job that you've outgrown that no longer serves you and is draining the core of your being, your soul, if your spirit is stretched, right? If you feel somber and sad and down and depressed and anxious and panicked and you're just going through it, right? If your hormones are outrageously crazy right now, like if you are postmenopausal, right? And you know what I mean, if you're over 50 and if you're 40 and you're perimenopausal or going through, entering menopause, listen, I'm trying to tell you, honey, it all matters. Okay. It's not just about a job and it's not just about a business. Somewhere in between there is a you and there is your life and there is every aspect of life that makes you you. Do you know what I'm saying? So you've got to take that for face value and say, I can't just want out of this job and I can't just want into something that I see as the grass is greener on the other side, because if you aren't whole and happy and complete, if we don't fix you holistically, fix you, meaning if you don't address the underlying issues, right, and fix those problems, then you're not going to have the success you're looking for. And that's why my focus really is to resuscitate your life, your dreams, and your business, right? So your business might be failing. You might be in a toxic job. You have some aspect of your life where you feel deficient, depleted, depleted, right? Or deficient, depleted, deflated. I think I said that wrong. It don't matter. We can't do anything about that. I'm not going to redo this video for that. We just got to take it for what it is. Okay. I said what it said, what it said. Now, it doesn't matter because you get the point. You know what I'm saying, right? You feel deficient. You feel depleted. You feel deflated. You feel drained. You feel exhausted. And you just feel like the life is being sucked out of you, like you're alive, but you're not living, you're dying inside, right? And you're like, why is this so hard? It wasn't so hard for me to find success in corporate America. And some of you are even contemplating, should I go back to school and get more degrees? Should I get a higher education? Should I pursue something else? Should I skip this business altogether because this ain't what it's all cut out to be or what they said it would be? They lied. Okay, right? And so you might be considering going back into the workforce, and that's crazy because you already know what that looks like. So why go backwards? No, we just got to deal with what we know is the truth of what the problems are and what exists right now. So wherever you are in the journey, that is why I am really like dialed in deeply with helping you address your current needs, right now with where you are, because everybody's on a different, we're kind of all like working towards the same or similar kind of goals, right? Being a legacy leader, being a generational curse breaker, breaking the generational cycle of struggle and building generational wealth, right? Doing better for our families, living life on our terms, having the freedom, the flexibility, taking our power back, having control over our life, right? Feeling at peace. All of that is the same. Like, we want to make a big impact. We want to be influential leaders, catalysts for change, and we want bigger profits, and we want great income doing the things we love. Yes, yes, and yes. We want to be our own boss, the CEO of our business, our brand, and our life. And that's the commonalities. But we're all at a different place and stage and phase in the journey. So that's why I'm here to meet you where you are. And again, that's why I really am focused heavily on, and I heavily place emphasis on prioritizing your health, healing, and happiness, because nothing comes before that. You've got to put yourself first. right? And that's the only way that so if when you focus on the mindset, when you focus on healing internally, those traumas, the drama, everything that corporate comes with, and those lingering, karmic issues, right? I always say the drama, the drama, the trauma, and the karma, right? Those are lingering issues. It's kind of like a domino effect from what you've already experienced in the corporate environment. And like I said, the number that they've done on you up here. So until you undo that, unlearn that, and heal that, you can't heal while you're in that environment, by the way, because you're still being hurt, you're still being damaged, you're still building up a lot of toxicity in the body. And so, that all said, we've got to move past that. And the only way we can move past it is if we address it head on, right? So, we've got to learn how to heal internally to expedite our external success. And then, while we're doing that deep inner work, we can then move past corporate America, cut the ties, right? Cut the cord, and build an aligned and profitable online brand and business. You see what I'm saying? That's how all of that ties in. So I say all that to say that I want you to win, but I want you to know what the realities are right now as to why you're not winning and why your credentials and the curriculum you've learned doesn't equal, and that six-figure degree you invested in does not equal you building a six-figure business automatically. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately, okay? But it's not too late for you to learn. And as you are hearing the sound of my voice, you can win still in this season. And this is your winning season. So I want you to know that if you are needing help and you want help turning your brilliance into a bankable brand, okay, then download my quick start guide, How to Cut the Corporate Cord and Become the CEO of Your Business and Your Life. Why? Because you can do this without any more degrees, getting in any more debt, and then after all of that said and done, having any more disappointment, because that's all corporate America did for you. Okay. And that's all they did for me too. So you can also book a call with me. That's a great way for you to get some clarity and some deeper insights around what you're experiencing right now and how I can help you move past that. Okay. So if you want to build a business that matches your beautiful, brilliant brain, a business that matches your brilliance, okay, then book a clarity call with me. And let's map out a strategy, a roadmap, a blueprint that actually works for you, because everybody's got a different story. And like I said, you're on the same or similar path, but you're in a different phase of the journey. You know what I mean? And so I want to help you with where you are right now to move past having a business that is sucking the life out of you. And you're wondering to yourself, like, damn, I'm exhausted. I don't know what else to do. I'm a team of one, a solopreneur, or I'm a parallelpreneur. I've got a job, I've got a business, I got life and everything else, right? Or you're running a full-time business, but it's still a hell of a lot, especially if you don't have a team, or maybe you're a team of two, or just a very small team. Maybe you don't have the right systems in place. Maybe you're not structured as you should be. Maybe, just maybe, you need more people resources, or you need better systems, or you need a different kind of structure, or something's missing, right? You need strategies, effective strategies that right now you don't have. So let me know if you need help, and I'm happy to help you. Okay. All you got to do is book a call right now with me, or download my guide, or both. Okay. Because actually they coincide, especially if you're trying to leave a job and build a business. Okay. So I appreciate you being here, and I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Listen, be sure to watch the next video that YouTube recommend, and share this video out with at least 3 friends. Okay. As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.